Hey, what's up? So I did not watch the State of the Union address. I listened to about 5 minutes of it on my way home, and it just kind of made me feel like slightly irritated because it's such bullshit. But that's not why I don't watch it. It doesn't really elevate my emotions not to watch it. I don't watch it, nor did I vote recently because I think democracy is kind of dumb. And I didn't always think this way. For a minute, I thought it was pretty cool. Um, I never was interested in politics before 2016, and then 2015 is when I started understanding that Trump seemed like he was the only person that was not completely lying 100% about things, like topics. I mean, I didn't assume he wasn't lying about other things, but like things that seemed more realistic, like after the Pulse nightclub shooting, to me, he had the most honest depiction of the events. And so, and then I saw the media just kind of smear him for what he said and give him take the worst version of what he meant. And I don't know, it just wasn't balanced at all. It was just completely obvious. Completely obvious. I don't know why no one else sees this shit around me. But, it's the sheep mind. It's the sheep mind. But it's not just the sheep mind why I'm against democracy. I guess, okay, so let me just finish my 2016 voting thing. I voted for Trump. It was the first time voting, and it was extremely exhilarating because I went to bed before the results came out just being completely positive Hillary Clinton was going to win. Just completely positive. And I went to bed at like 8 or 8:30. And then I woke up and Trump won, and it was so insane. It was so awesome. That was really cool. That was a really cool experience. But then, it's like, hello, I just watched what happened to his presidency. It went from like, that was so awesome what happened, and then just a slow crash and burn. And so 2018, I wasn't going to vote, but I guess I do recall now I actually did vote. And it was because my daughter was at the age where she could vote, and we thought it would be fun to vote together. But I didn't give a shit about voting at that point because I knew he wasn't going to win. I mean, how could things go that bad right in front of everybody's eyes? And then the next vote was going to change things. I mean, it was just so whatever. But that wasn't even why I don't care about democracy and how it's obviously retarded and rigged. Hello. Okay, so it was actually joining this group of this, like, it was called Braver Angels or Better Angels. I can't remember. They changed their name. So they had this, they were working with activists, political activists, and they had workshops, and people would attend the workshops, and you had to be like, kind of like wanting to discuss politics, because it was basically trying to teach people how to discuss politics in a way that was sane and not, wasn't going to make people like, sorry, she saw something out there, wasn't going to make people like become violent and that sort of thing. So I walked into this open-minded that this is something that would work, and it uses like family therapy strategies, which is also just really funny to think about, like to reflect upon this. So this was a while ago. So me and this other lady hosted, and this other lady has been a political activist, a progressive political activist for a very, very, very long time. And I will say that I think, I would go so far to say that she has groupies. And so she had no problem getting people to have this event. And she kind of challenged me a little bit, because she just kept saying, I just don't think, people on the right want to have these conversations, because I just keep asking and everyone declines. And it was almost like a challenge, like I have to find people to participate. And I did. I like uncomfortably asked people to participate in this. And I got enough people so that we could do this. And largely, it was just like, it was kind of interesting. It wasn't terrible, but it was not like not icy. It wasn't like this warm thing. It stayed icy the whole time. But at one point, and oh yeah, I was the only female on the red side, I think. Well, I can't really remember. I'm pretty sure I was the only female. And the other side was like all females. So that was the other dynamic, is watching men and women talk about politics. This was also fascinating now that I think about it. But I'll just get to the point. At a certain exercise that we were doing, you had to kind of like challenge. You got partnered up with someone, and I forget what it was, but you had to like kind of restate their position and then respond to it or something like that. And I got teamed up with this lady in her 60s, and she's one of the groupies, I'm pretty sure. I've seen her at like the she volunteers at like the voting booths and stuff like that. And she just had that look in her eye, kind of. So we were talking about capitalism or something like that. And my point to her was that mass immigration, or Bernie Sanders said that mass immigration was a Koch brothers policy that decreased wages and made profits higher or whatever. And she started crying. And she was crying out of frustration because what we were doing was very unnatural and unpleasant. Okay? Like, I don't want to be fucking making some 60-year-old lady cry about something fucking Bernie Sanders said. I mean, these are such dry, lame topics that have nothing to do with actual life. And here I am at this workshop making this lady cry over a different perspective. And yeah, you can say, okay, well, that lady has a huge ego and she's not curious enough. But no, she's on a team and she's trying to win. And she just so happened to be around someone who outmatched her because I had exposure to stuff that she hadn't had exposure to. So anyway, the thing is with democracy is that I think it's hindered progress so much, because I actually feel like white people, if you kind of look at things, and okay, I'm no anthropologist, but it seems like white people were able to innovate ways to do things like systems in agriculture and those sorts of things. And I think once you put democracy in that mix, it actually keeps white people from innovating, because instead of being like, shit, man, this plot isn't growing as well anymore, I wonder what's going on here. Instead of like just thinking about something and implementing a plan and trying that plan and working on things and stuff like that, you're trying to think about, well, there's a problem here, and how can I create some gadget that will like emotionally simulate other people's problem with this? You know, it's like you're trying to make money. You're not trying to solve a problem. You're just trying to like make money, and you're trying to make a case, because everyone has to make a case for fucking everything right now. Okay? Because of democracy, and because we have so many choices everywhere. And we have to feel like we have to argue our position is right about everything. And anyway, I think it's like kind of prevented us from thinking about solutions to things, because now we're just trying to like win arguments all the time. And yeah, I just think democracy is kind of dumb. It fucking doesn't even work. I mean, it's like, and it's only encouraged everyone to get dumber because, of course, the people that most in power want everyone to be dumb so we don't see how, like, they're lying to us constantly about every fucking thing. You know, and it's like, it's so funny to, like, listen to people, like, bag on China. It's like, how can you not see, like, what we have going on actually sucks for most people? So how are we bagging on? I mean, I've never been to China. I talked to a Chinese man today, actually. His parents were from China. And I was trying to ask him stuff, but, you know, it's like there was almost China shame in him, you know? And I was just like, so, like, if you don't mind me asking, because he's someone who, like, tried to become super American. He's really into classic cars and that kind of stuff. And he worked in the prison system, and he's a little guy. He's shorter than I am. I was like, I know you said your parents were from China. What religion were you guys? Were you guys religious? And he said, no, we never talked about religion. And I was like, oh, well, do you know what religion you would have been? And he said, no, that was just not something they talked about ever. And he talks a lot about how he just thinks kids are weak now and stuff. And I asked him if his mom was a tiger mom, as they say. And he's just like, you know, I wasn't pushed academically because my family owned a restaurant. And I worked in the restaurant as a kid. And when I got older, they wanted me to open another restaurant, and I didn't want to. And they also got mad because I married a Mexican woman. And they wanted me to keep things in my culture. And I told them, you sound like you're from Alabama. And he said they didn't like that at all. But it's just kind of interesting. It's just like, okay, if you look at, like, the most conservative people on the planet, it's like the people that stayed, you know, pretty tribal, probably that had the least amount of progress happening. They just kind of conserved everything for a long time. They didn't feel the need to you know, flex those muscles to get stronger. They just kept things the same. So they actually were, like, bad at progress. And then white people were, like, fucking making shit happen, you know? Maybe not all good, but definitely progressing. And then all of a sudden, now we can't do anything. We can't make anything work better. In fact, all we can do is fail at everything. I mean, like, obviously we're on the wrong track right now. So, anyway, yeah, that's why I didn't watch State of the Union tonight, and I don't vote. It's because I think democracy is stupid, and I don't want to make 60-year-old women cry. I don't want them to cry. They should be grandmas. And make cookies. They shouldn't be fucking talking about shit way over their head that they don't understand, that think that, I mean, she just embarrassed herself. That's why she cried. And that didn't make me feel good. So I don't think, it's not that women shouldn't vote. It's that nobody should vote. And we should just have awesome leaders. So that's all. Good night.